Hello, all you cool cat and kittens. Welcome to Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. My name is Carol Baskin. Oh, I mean, Maliena Bitchcock. And I'm so happy to introduce, she's beautiful and she's talented, the one and only Alessandra Hunt.
Hey, well,
Hey, girl.
hey, happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to finally have you here on Bitch Talk. And I see that you're dressed in leopard print.
I am. I thought, we'd give it, a little Tiger King fantasy, with the big cats. She's got a big.
Oh, absolutely. Here, kitty, kitty. I hope you're hungry for a little bit of my husband.
Yes, we love a dessert. We love a little snack. We love a good.
Yes. Speaking of desserts, honey, a little kitty told me that it's your birthday.
It is my birthday, the first annual 29th birthday. So I'm here
Oh
on.
my gosh, and I love that you called it the first annual. Absolutely, baby.
So just 29 from here on out. Okay.
Honey, and you don't look a day over 25.
Thank you. You know what? It's the love of a good man and a lot of vodka.
Yeah, well, unlike me with this age makeup where I look like, ooh,
You
ooh,
could be like a prom queen in like the 70s. It's like very this, yeah. Which
you
is
know.
Bassin's aesthetic. So,
Kind of that kind of scary hippie. You don't know if you want to pick them up while hitchhiking or if they're going to kill you.
right. And she probably would, but you know what? You look great. You nailed it. All the details, the necklace, the fact that your top ties in the front. That's and I know where you live. That's where I'm from. That's some Springfield tea. You go to Walmart, you go to down to Olympic 42nd. That's what they're wearing, and that's why I love this. Yes,
Thank
beautiful.
you. So are you surviving quarantine through all the BS?
Yeah, so I'm lucky. So I live in Seattle. I live about half a mile from like a pretty nice lake that has some walking paths. So I try to walk those every day because I go crazy in here. But like other than that, just like I don't know. I bought a Nintendo 64. Like I'm trying to find new things to entertain myself. My poor dog is sick of me. Like I feel like my dog's like, okay, like you can go to work now. Like, can you leave my house, please? But yeah, and lucky that my boyfriend's staying with me, so he's been cooking and I've been supervising. I've been watching him cook and taste testing along the way. But yeah, one day at a time. Hopefully, just missing, being able to see people. So
Quarantine's bad when the dog wants you to leave.
okay,
Well, bitch, I'm so ready to dive into this interview. I feel like there's so much that we have to learn about you. I really think we should start from the beginning, like we do with most of my guests, and see when you first started drag and actually how long you've been performing.
yeah. So I started drag. It was May 10th. Was 2012. So I just turned 21. Just moved to Seattle, and I was part of this new community, and I was like, oh, let's try it out. I'm kind of that generation that was kind of raised on Drag Race, where the first season came out when I was in high school, and so that's kind of perked that interest. I was in choir and all that, and so it's like cool. We'll start doing drag. So I've been doing it on and off for 8 years. I've taken, I've had a few retirements, a few comebacks. You can call me Cher, I don't know, but she's been gone. She's been back, but she's back for good. So here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're a little young to be like retiring and coming back, but
I know, right? I know. It's like an ongoing joke with our friends. They're like, oh my God, she's going to quit again. Some of my friends are like, if you quit again, can I have this? Can I have this wig? This one's real popular. It's like an ongoing joke, but.
oh my God, but I will say this hair looks fabulous on you. You
Yeah.
look so stunning today.
It was straight earlier, but so humid today that it just, so this is my
Yeah.
natural hair, all of this. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. You should always feel beautiful on your birthday.
Right. I know. I'm like, you know what? There's not much I can do, but I can control how I'm feeling. So we're going to choose happiness today.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to make sure you felt beautiful. That's why I painted like this, so you were actually the pretty one in this interview.
I love it. No, you look great.
Thank you. So, how did you actually get the bug? What bit you and made you want to start drag?
So I honestly, I grew up in choir, and so I did band too. So I've always been on some sort of stage. Like I love performing, and that was kind of like opportunities like that are so few and far between once you're an adult. Like at least in high school, like everyone can try it out, everyone can do it. So like when out as an adult, I was like, how can I kind of get that same um, the same attention, that same feeling. At the same time, I just moved to Seattle, and I was just like, I was a baby gay. I was 21 years old. Didn't know what my place was. I thought that, oh, if I move to Seattle, everything will be great. I'll have this, this great gay community that I'm going to go into. Then I got here, I was like, oh, like you need to be like super young, super masculine, super white. Like those are the things that gay men naturally are attracted to. And doing drag was an opportunity for me to escape that and to be a part of the community. So it was a big part. It was a lot of it was my own insecurities and being able to see drag queens on stage and be like, oh my god, I want to be that. I want to be that confident. And it stemmed from a pretty dark place where I was very very insecure about myself. But Alessandra is basically how I survived the first 3 years I was in Seattle as a gay young adult. It was just being able to escape and be larger than life. So
And the more I'm doing these interviews with all the queens, I'm learning more and more of us have insecurity once we're not in drag. And we kind of use our drag as an armor to be more confident, to really find a different side of us.
totally.
And so, I'm definitely want you to know that you're not alone, honey, but you are such an amazing creature once you get all dolled up. So, I
Thank you.
mean, I know you won't listen to it because I know I don't when people tell me this. Believe in yourself in or out of drag.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what it's taught me the most is I still struggle with it a lot, but it was that like that first step into discovering who I could be, who I want to be. And so yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot.
Okay. How did you actually choose your drag name, babe?
So my first drag mother is Alessandra Hunt from Seattle, professional dancer. She's a volleyball player. And that's how we met. We both play volleyball. And she's like, oh, I was like, oh, you're fierce. Like, I want to be like you. Will you be my drag mother? And that was it. So Hunt is her last name, and then Alessandra is from the Victoria's Secret model.
Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I love it. And why don't you tell us, describe actually your drag character in 3 words.
I would say she's funny, fierce, and fun. Wait, funny. Oh my god, funny, fierce, and um, sociable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And why don't you tell us a little bit about more how your drag personality comes out once you get in drag?
Yeah, I feel like once you put on the makeup, the lashes, like the whole like 50 pounds that we're carrying, it's like you honestly feel like you're in a mask. And I feel like I'm a lot more confident. Like I can go out, like normally if I'm out of drag, even if it's a bar I've been to 1,000 times, if I don't know anyone there, like I won't go in by myself. Like I won't, even if I know bartenders or I might run into someone, like I can't, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable. But when I'm in drag, I get put all this on. I could go into a bar that I've never been to and a place that I've never been to and be like, cool, like we're gonna make this work. We're gonna socialize. We're gonna get ourselves a drink. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna make friends. It's gonna be fun. And so that's what kind of turns me. I lose this kind of insecurity of like, what if people don't like me? What if people are staring at me? Where when I'm in drag, I'm like, I want people to stare at me. I want people to do those things. I want people to approach me. And so it kind of just flips that switch for me.
And I think that's one reason a lot of us do drag is to get that attention and to feel important for even if it's just a minute. And I remember the first time I think I've only done like 1 or maybe 2 shows with you, but the one I remember is brunch out in Cottage Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in shock when I saw you. I was like, this person is so fucking beautiful. And you were also a little sassy, which I love. I love a sassy queen. And I just really liked watching you. And one thing that I thought was really beautiful is like your actually family was at that event supporting you in that event. And girl, you're a fierce queen, and I'm scared to see what happens next because you might be on Drag Race, taking over the world,
Right. Oh my
the
gosh.
next RuPaul.
Oh my gosh. Right. With this hair, I feel I've got the silhouette, but yeah, the world's a your store. So
So speaking of queens like RuPaul,
Mhm.
what would you say sets you apart from other drag queens?
um, I not that drag queens are always. You should be confident as a drag queen, but I think that my humility. Like I honestly like I don't whether it's a new queen or a seasoned queen. Like I don't lose sight of who I was when I started this. I try to be really humble and be very gracious, for every opportunity I get. If I can be flexible, I'll be flexible. Again, I don't ever want to be that drag queen that is hard to work with or whatever. And not that I think there's a lot out there, but I think that there are queens that maybe are upcoming or feel entitled to that can get a little diva-ish. But that's not something you will, like, I'm always on time. I'll never be late. You know, if I have to cancel a gig, which I hate canceling gigs, like I'll do it as soon as I can. Like I just try to be as professional as possible. And I guess just in my performances, I guess a lot of queens who are new are all about, you know, dips and, you know, choreography and like backflips and splits, and I can't do any of that. And so I really draw from a previous generation of drag where it was really, you know, knowing your words and knowing what the music means and performing songs that mean something to you, not just, you know, making a quick dollar. There are some songs I'll do for a quick dollar, but for the most part, I really try to do performances that I can embody. So I guess, you know, it's an, I don't do all those tricks and the shenanigans, but you know, good for girls who can do them. I mean, I wish I could. So I just try to, you know.
Well, you know, honey, you just hit the ripe age of 29 in the gay world, which means you're right at the hill. So if you keep doing any of those tricks and things on
I know,
stage,
right?
you're gonna break a hip.
Right. Years ago, I could do that, but no, you're right. Yeah, if I'm down, like call 911, life alert. I've fallen, I can't get up. Uh, yeah.
Absolutely, baby. So tell us a little bit about your drag style. Right now, what I can tell is you're very elegant, very regal. It looks like you like big hair and shiny jewelry. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like it varies for the event. I'm very conscious of my audience and my venue. Like, I knew I was getting interviewed by you, so I knew I wanted to look good. So I put on jewelry, I put on my stone gown, big hair. I don't wear a lot of jewelry when I'm out. I think it's because I like forget to I'm running, or I'm afraid to lose it or break it. So if I'm like outside of a pageant, I won't wear a lot of jewelry. I do love big hair. It's usually curly, darker. I love an ombre. I love multiple tones. This is like quintessential Alessandra. Um,
I
Clothing.
kind of would love to see you in some like beautiful, like blonde platinum hair almost,
Yeah.
because I think you would almost give us like I don't know if like Beyonce almost did platinum blonde, but almost RuPaulish would be like that kind of big platinum hair on you.
She loves just a solid. I've been afraid to try it, but I'm like I want to. I've always been, yeah, but yeah, blondes are great. I'm hardly ever in like a dark brown, black to all wig.
So let's say you're going to go to a show and
Mhm.
there's no lines of what you have to look like, and you're going to bring a signature drag look that you are known for 100%. What would we expect to see you looking like?
Probably gonna be hair like this. It's gonna be a black, almost see-through bodysuit that's stoned, and a black boot, and it's just gonna be like just painted. I usually have a pretty high eyebrow, lashes, and just a bright red lip. And yeah, that's usually how I walk in. That's kind of my like. I can perform in it. I can hang out in it. That's just my like. If I just need a look to go, um, it's that kind of meshy black bodysuit. Yeah.
Do you ever get very showgirly-ish where it's like, you know, I tend to like rhinestones myself, but I
Mhm.
also like feathers and I also like something I can definitely move in. Is that ever your style?
I've been really wanting to getting into that, especially with the stones. Like I can see, like I appreciate, like I have one of my friends that like stones outfits for me now, and he just does it because he gets bored. I don't know, but I get the appeal of it, and it's with pageantry. Like one of the pageants that people ask me every year if I'm going to run is La Femme, and La Femme is very, and I appreciate that it's like that old school showgirl feathers, boas, and it's just this whole production. I appreciate that.
Just
I think,
expensive.
oh my god, it's expensive and it's heavy,
Mhm.
but like it looks so good. I'll go to La Femme International every year in Portland, and I'm just like, how are these girls doing it? Like I can barely hold this wig on my head. Like, you know, they're big time doing it. Yeah, anything that can move, anything that adds to performance, I'm into.
I love that. Now, tell me a little bit about who actually inspires your character. Are there any famous icons, women in music, or actually any powerful women just in everyday life that have helped really inspire who you are as a character?
Yeah, I think that I mean, I was raised, you know, a child of the 90s. We were all about the power ballads. So I loved Mariah and Whitney. Whitney's my number one. Love Mariah too. But they were, they could just slay vocals. And there's a thing in Filipino culture where like people love people that can sing. I cannot sing, and so I loved and admired that, just being able to just belt and sing.
Didn't those two women actually do a duet back in like the late 90s, early thousands for like a Prince of Egypt
Yes,
soundtrack?
you believe. I've always wanted to perform that with Geisha Star, actually, who's one of my other drag moms in Seattle. Like, she's like the Whitney person from the 90s. I'm like, you know what, I could be Mariah for this. Like, for you, I'll be Mariah. But it's a beautiful song, and those two are like my two divas, I guess. And they just let their voices perform for them, and just like me, they couldn't dance, and so I could identify with that. So
Is there any women in television that have inspired you? Like, as you can see today, my look is very inspired by Carol Baskin.
I love it. No, I think from early on in gayhood, and I always watched every single time I used to get into drag. I watched Paris is Burning, and so every single person that it was a timing thing. I knew I needed to be done with my face by the time it ended, but it also reminded me of all the people who paved the way for me, who paved the way for us to be who we are today. The trans people of color, the queer people of color, in the underground ballroom scene, and so that's it, and it's every single person. The House of Extravaganza, the House of Opulence. It's all these things that culminate into the foundation of queer culture as it is today.
We were even talking about the ball scene a few episodes ago, and I think it's very important for queer culture. And Paris is Burning, I think that with also Wigstock, they are some of my favorite documentaries that I can probably binge watch probably like 40 times and never get tired of it.
Totally.
And if you will allow me, I want to just say one of my favorite lines from Paris is Burning, and touch the skin, honey, touch all of the skin. You're just an overgrown orangutan.
I love
Oh
it.
my God.
It's so good, and like even in the the series Pose, that's even still filming, it's still going on. Like, I think it's so important that they're still bringing that that history that even queer people aren't aware of, let alone mainstream straight culture. And it's putting it out on FX every season, and they're giving a glimpse into our ancestors' worlds.
Would you say that the ball scene has inspired your drag at all?
I think it has. I think it's that it's the realness, and it's just like that opportunity to get that celebrity that society denies you for. Even though you have the talent, even though you have the personality, it gives you that world to achieve that amongst peers. And that's what I always craved in drag, was that approval amongst my peers. And that's kind of what it is with drag me now, and the ball scene, where it's like you are giving this illusion, this fantasy of what your life could be if the world were equal. And so I get a lot of that emotion about drag, for sure.
That's beautiful, baby. I love that a lot. And I feel like there's a lot of history that has come that is kind of forgotten, sadly, especially from the queer youth that just, they just don't know who to learn it from. And again, this is why I wish they taught queer history in like high school, so kids could learn a little bit what has happened before them. And, if there were kids like you, they can know that there are certain cultures that they can look up to, and they don't have to feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, it's that representation, and that's what it was with RuPaul. And that very first season came out, and Angina was on the show, and she was this brown queer Filipino, and I'd never seen that before. And I was like, oh, I could be like that. I could be confident like that. I could achieve that. And so that representation of seeing someone like you, whether it's real life on TV, is so important to people, especially adolescent people.
Yeah, and just like Angina, you are truly a beauty queen. You look like you know what you're doing with your makeup. You look stunning. Come here, zoom in. Let us see a little bit of that face, girl.
This, it's just my makeup look, you're going off to QFC to Fred Meyer, just a quick beat,
But bitch, you look stunning.
Oh my
How
gosh.
do how did you actually learn to do makeup?
Um, a lot of practice, a lot of trial, mostly error, but it was just like YouTubing stuff and like trying to imitate stuff. And I would watch drag queens get ready on the third floor of our place, see them get ready before show, and be like taking mental notes of like, oh, that's how they did this. That's what I need for this. And like it was a lot of learning um, from other people, from observations. I'm in drag, like I'm not a person that like likes I won't bother a queen, or like I'm not brave enough at that point when I was a new drag queen to ask a queen specifically. And so like, I was just like a fly on the wall in the dressing room, kind of just watching or Googling things on YouTube of things I thought would look good on me. Um, but yeah, lots of trial and error.
And I think that's how you do it, babe. Believe me, I've not always looked this good.
Always.
Mm. I don't know if I look good tonight just with my old lady makeup, but it takes a lot of learning when you're learning drag, and you like what I'm doing tonight. You can't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone.
Totally.
You have to be willing to try new things, and also say, okay, how do I sharpen what I already know? Also, like I know I look pretty like this, but how can I make it look better?
Right. What's that detail, that one detail, every single time that you're going to focus on a little more? For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of makeup, what is your process when you're becoming this beautiful creature?
So I cover my brows. So I do the good old Elmer's disappearing glue on my brows. So I glue those down first. While I'm gluing them down, I will do the rest of my face. So I'll put orange rouge around my beard area to warm up my this, all that. Do that, powder it. I'm in the meantime, I'm gluing powder over my brows because it's a process. But orange powder, foundation powder. By then, hopefully my brows are gone. I look like Whoopi Goldberg, perfect. So I got foundation all over my face. I go in with highlight. I'm going with my contour. Powder that out, blend it all up. Do my eye makeup, do my eyebrows, dust off some excess powder. Go in with another powder over my foundation to recontour. Do my lips, hairspray my
Oh,
face to set it, put on lashes, call it a day.
I love it. I love it so much. When I'm doing my lips, I always find it very helpful to take the blood of my dead husband and just rub that on my lips. It
Little
just really
subtlety.
brings out the
Yeah.
plumpness.
Yeah. It's that little allergic reaction that you get from it. Yeah.
That and all the money he left me.
Hey, you know what? That's not the only thing that's to be swollen, that bank account. Okay.
Yeah. So, what's your least favorite thing actually about getting in drag? Because as us queens, we know that we look beautiful and we look stunning, but most of the time we're in pain.
Oh my
So,
God.
what's your least favorite thing about getting in drag, bitch?
So I mean, I feel like the obvious first answer is usually tucking, but like I'm most, I hate putting on, it's the biggest difference. I hate putting on lashes. I,
Mhm.
it's so important. And like, I feel like I don't transform until I put on lashes. Once I put on lashes, I'm like, oh, she's a woman. Before then, I'm
See,
just like, you look like Mrs. Potato Head. Like,
I think that's so funny too because you said you also don't like tucking. That's actually when I feel like a woman. When that monster is pushed back there and
right.
you have flat, genitalia, you're like, "Oh my God, I'm a woman." Yeah.
And for me, honestly, it's a lot. Like, as soon as I'm just like, oh, we're done. But like, my lashes take me way longer than they should because I'm so paranoid about how that like stereotypical wonky eyelash. And I'm Filipino, my eyes aren't the most equally shaped, and so it's a struggle. And so half the time, like my biggest thing is if you watch me at a show or like in between numbers or just hanging out in drag, I'm constantly trying to fix my lashes. You could play a drinking game to it. You'd be wasted in like 10 minutes. Take a drink every single time Alessandra touches her lashes. You'd be wasted like 10 minutes. I'm constantly like, I hate it. I
All
wish.
right, Miss Gia Gunn, get that wonky laugh.
Exactly. You look like this, like I look like I'm winking at you. Lord, no. Yeah.
Well, honey, you've mentioned you've done drag for a bit. How has drag actually changed since the first time you started?
It's so much more elevated, which is great. And it's like, I feel like queens come out, and it's that representation. It's that being able to be different now. Not that it's easy now, but it is easier than it was even 10, 15 years ago. And so, some of these queens have already been playing with makeup as a boy, or they already wear makeup, or they're already interested in it. And so they come out first time in drag and they're just painted for filth. Like they just look stunning.
It's as an older queen, that's so intimidating because you see
Right.
this new queen and they're like,
Right. And they're like, oh, this is my first time. Like, your first time? Who painted you? And they're like, I did. And I was like, fuck you. Like, are you, what? And I'm like, can you paint me? But it's great because it's made queens who really are in it for the right reasons, who really want to stay in drag, focus and like, kind of reinvent themselves, or really focus on themselves as a performer, as an entertainer. And so the people who are doing drag want to do drag. It's not like they're like, I have to do this, and so it's making people who are truly passionate, who grew up on RuPaul's Drag Race, coming out of the woodwork and looking, sickening. So
but
good.
I'm actually pre RuPaul.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing drag 15 years. You can never tell from my makeup skills,
What's up?
but but it's funny because like we were saying, it's kind of intimidating to see some of you beautiful bitches
Mm-hmm.
who grow up off of seeing RuPaul and have YouTube and have all these different things to kind of learn off of. And it's like, it was a lot harder back in the day when you literally had to just spend time in the mirror and do the trial and error thing. And kids, again, they're lucky that we have RuPaul and YouTube and all that, because it's not easy being pretty.
Right, and those makeup tutorials for women, or females who are born female, are not the same. It takes a lot more to make. Like, it's not as. Even when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, we put on some like foundation and like it'll be easy, and oh, I look busted, and I thought I
Girl,
looked so good. I was like, ooh, girl, no man.
girl, I will make you a deal. When this interview is over, let's trade our first pictures, because
Oh,
girl, I look just as bad.
I look like a potato. I'm wearing like this awful artificial hair, this brown. I look like a potato sack. Like, who told me I look good? Like, I've told my friends, like, you told me I look good. I read the comment. You're a liar. So
Well, speaking of looking good, I know you've looked so good in the past. You've actually earned a couple titles under your belt. Speaking of, why don't we start with one of the first titles, which was Miss Gay Pride? Why don't you tell me a little bit about that experience?
yeah. So Miss Seattle Pride 2013, a couple of years ago. So I was a year in the game, and they're doing this big, huge Pride pageant at Neighbor Seattle, and all my people that like my drag family, they all had done pageants, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like let's do it. There's like an evening gown portion and pride wear portion, talent portion. It was a lot of fun. Competing against some queens that I looked up to. Came out on top. It must have been close because I know all the queens were really fierce. And just being able to be in the pride parade is so much fun. And just being able to see, people waving at you and like realizing that you were that person that you needed was such a a fantastic moment for me. Because even back then I was still 22. Like, I was still needing a person to look up to myself, but realizing that even though I felt like I was alone, I wasn't making it, that even where I am is where, someone is looking up to me even. So like, keep going and keep doing those things. And so, open up opportunities for me to, help hold fundraisers and perform fundraisers and give back to the community as Miss Seattle Pride, and just, represent Pride. So it was a blast.
And I think that's really true, like wonderful that you know that you need to give back to your community, take care of the very people who support you as a queen.
So,
And I mean, girl, you're so good. You didn't only earn one title, you also won a second title. And I heard you were Miss Gay Washington. Tell
yeah.
me a bit about that.
Miss Gay Washington 2015-16, a pageant, a title that um, that my drag mother Geisha Star had held before, 1995-96. And so it was always one that I wanted to have my eyes on. Like, I wanted to, represent Washington. I'm from Oregon, but like Washington's my home now. And I really wanted to represent the place that I now called home that um, kind of represented a lot for me in my development as a young, queer male. And so that was it. I wanted to be Miss Gay Washington. I wanted to travel. I wanted to fundraise. I wanted to represent. I wanted to be that person I needed when I was growing up. And so I did it. It was one of very few years I wasn't held in Tacoma. I was in Everett. It was all white, evening gown, talent. I did Beyonce. My parent, like my mom and my sisters were there. It was a great moment. Yeah, it was a night I'll never forget. For
So
sure.
do you enjoy doing something on a level of competition, or do you more prefer just being casual and just coming and performing?
I could go either way. Every now and then I'll watch old pageant videos and like, oh, like that would be so much fun, like the thrill of doing that. But at the same time, like I just love like kicking it, having a straw and a white claw and like, throwing back with my girls. So I go back and forth. I don't know. And I can go either way. And so I think that's what keeps me going in drag is I don't ever haven't burnt out. And so I can go, I've looked at a few pageants before this whole quarantine happened. So my eyes aren't closed to it, but it's been a while. It's been 5 years. So
And tell me a bit about your mindset when you're actually competing in a pageant.
yeah, I think my mindset is once you're there, you can't worry about what other people are doing or what they could have prepared. Like all you can do is prepare with yourself and just be like, you know what, I have to be prepared to beat anyone. And so prepare a package that you think can beat anyone. Um, don't let anyone go into it, even if you have a little doubt, like go into it pretending like you have it, like you prepare this package because you earned that and you work so hard for it. And don't be intimidated by anyone else because you just got to be yourself and you just got to put yourself out there and do the best that you can do. And I think I forget, it was a vocal coach or someone that I followed that said that when you're performing live, there's no such thing as a mistake. Like everything happens for a reason. Just go with it. And because there's
I
nothing
love
to do once you're off that stage, you're done performing, you can't go back and change what you did. Like it is what it is, and just own it and be proud that you're up there.
I love that because anytime you're on stage, your job is to sell the audience that everything you do on that stage is done on purpose and for a reason.
Hmm.
If you fuck up, even if you fall on your ass, it is your job to continue and make them think that you did it on purpose.
Yeah, I did. I think there's a recording of it. I did, and I'm telling you, at a brunch show in Vancouver not too long ago, and I was like moving around, and I ate shit. Like I face planted, and I was just like, well,
Oh,
like keep performing. Like it's a dramatic song, like maybe really super dramatic. You just got to keep going, and that's what gains you more respect. Is when people,
bitch.
I did
Yeah,
it.
shit happens. And you know what? The sign of a true queen is you keep going and you know how to keep making it look fabulous.
Right? And it's just it's those lessons you draw from drag into real life. I'm like, yeah, like things happen, you fuck up, but like you just gotta keep on going. Like life waits for no one. Like just keep going, and it is what it is, and all you can control is your next movement and the way you are embodying it. So
So, what did you love most about actually holding these titles?
it was nice rolling up in the club with my sash on, like with my crown. Like it was nice, like being like, yeah, I'm somebody. Like it was nice to, because I've been pushed down so much in my life, and I had never had gotten like the accolades or whatever. It was nice to be that person that people were talking about and like people liked, and it was a conversation starter, and get to meet great people at events, and so yeah, it was getting that attention, but also like being able to network with people. Um,
I
yeah,
love that.
it
And
was
what. So when I ran for Empress and I was Empress, I think that was one of the best things about holding a title. Besides taking care of your community, of course, I love taking care of my community, doing all the charity work, but it was also nice to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet in an average club, and you meet some of these elders within the communities who've been doing drag almost 40 years. And I think I learned a lot during holding a title because you learn to be a little more refined. You learn to polish it up a little bit. You also learn when to keep your fucking mouth shut when you need to.
There were times where I was like, you know what, this is a sash off night. Like, you know what, we're drinking a little bit. I'm gonna take my sash off because I'm not representing my community, and that was it. Like, I wanted to represent my community. I wanted to give back to my community, and it was great in that, not that you need a title or you need a name to make a difference, but walking to a club, walking to an event, and having that sash, that crown, and being able to use that to give back to my community was amazing.
Now, honey, you have mentioned that you actually have a drag mother, correct?
I do.
Um,
I have several.
yeah, tell us, how does it make you feel, and how has it helped you evolve to be part of a drag family?
It's that support and that like sense of community of people who've been through it, like people who have lived your life, walked in your shoes, and what they can impart on you. You know, people to, you know, give me makeup tips, you know, lend me a dress, tell me when I look ugly, like, you know, give me like, help me grow in a, you know, in a productive way, in an environment that is, you know, productive to loving oneself. Uh,
I
and
think
so
that's
that's what it was.
wonderful. And a lot of kids these days, I don't know if, I guess they understand the idea of having a drag parent and learning off of them. I mean, a lot of them just, again, go online and watch Drag Race and kind of learn that way. But I think there's a certain bond and that you can have by growing off of learning from someone who's been doing it almost 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And, again, especially when you have that bond with that person, they'll sit down with you, show you little tricks like, here, this is how you tease this wig. This is how you do little tricks to get your eyebrows even.
Mhm.
And those are the relationships I wish we saw more this day and age of
Right.
is,
A traditional old school family, chosen family.
yeah, because like you said a little bit ago, is it also provides a sense of community that a lot of us need, because there's not a some of us queens and some of us queer people don't feel comfortable in our real families.
Right.
So to have something, even if it's in the drag world, to say, this is my family, these are people I can depend on, these are people who are going to help nurture and uplift me, I feel like that's important for a lot of us.
It's drag families are for, you know, for people who have, whose families have left them behind, who don't have that, you know, they don't have that nuclear, you know, mother, father, or family figure setup. Like they don't, and so
You
that's
know,
that comes in, and I appreciate, and I wish, I mean, I wish it happened more even. Like it's, you're right, like just appreciating what the previous generations have for us and the lessons they can teach us, and yeah.
and I was not fortunate enough to have a drag mother ever. I mostly learned off of drag sisters, being in a close knit group and watching what was successful for some of them and what was not so successful.
Right.
Um, Now, it was probably later in my career I started really building a family and started meeting queens that I would be comfortable calling them mother, even though I don't hold their name or anything.
Right.
And, that's when I think I found myself start polishing up a little bit, when I started finding myself be a little more refined, finding when my makeup was getting a lot more better, because, again, these queens have been around the block, depending on how long they've been doing drag. Sometimes some of them have been doing it for almost 20 years. And you can learn so much more from a bitch who's been doing drag for 20 years than what you can do from a 5-minute YouTube video.
Right. Exactly. And that's, yeah. And with my case, like I had Lasaviana Hunt, I had Shaniqua Volt, I had Alexa Manila, and Geisha Star. And I started in that order, like how it happened. It was like every single time someone was like, oh, like you're my drag, you know, family, or my drag daughter, it made me want to elevate more because I was representing someone who I looked up to. And I remember the first time, you know, when Geisha Star was like, oh, like, you know, you're a star. Or when Alexa was like, I want you to be a Manila. Like, I just remember um, being so honored. Like I had like, they were just some like on this pedestal, like untouchable. Like that's just like the next level. Like that's an icon. They're all icons. Shaniqua, Lasaviana, Alexa, and Geisha are all icons. And for them to be like, I want you to be family, It made me want to elevate, and made me want to polish, and made me want to present myself better, and made me want me to, represent their name um, every time I went out.
So you have 3 drag mothers.
4.
4.
It's
Oh
around.
my god.
So
So
Lasaviana was the first. Shaniqua is Lasaviana's drag mother, but she claims me because we look alike. And then Alexa and Geisha Star, Alexa Manila, Geisha Star, who are in Seattle. Geisha Star, who was kind of like, I guess, turned my main mother, who I talk to pretty much every day. And she actually survived COVID. She got COVID, did a Facebook Live special.
oh,
It was crazy. My dad had just died. She was in the hospital, and it was just like, it was a lot. So she's great. She's doing fine now. But no, we talk a lot. She's a big inspiration for me as I continue my drag career.
oh, honey, and I think that's wonderful that you have people that support you and uplift you. And again, I really hope that we can see more of that in the near future for the queer community, because drag families is something that's important for us.
Right.
Now, honey, why don't you tell me a little bit about, is there a difference from your drag persona to you in actual real life?
Um, the longer I do drag, the more I take over Irvin. I think the longer I do it, the more confident I get as a boy. And so when I first started, there's a big difference. There's like, I'm not very confident in myself. I don't know who I am. And now I'm, pushing, my late 20s, late 20s. And I'm seeing how Alessandra is influencing my real life. I'm a little more confident. I know who I am. I'm not going to apologize for who I am. But at the same time, there's a little difference. I'm still, more confident in drag than out of drag. But yeah, the longer I do drag and the more confident I can make myself more confident as a boy, they kind of are starting to merge.
And what is Alessandra? Oh God, Alessandra. Ooh, this is why I'm trying not to say your name, because I keep knowing I have pronunciation issues.
No, it's all good. You can call me Allie. That's all.
All right, so what is Allie's performance style like?
Allie, I'm always usually upbeat. I'm always, like I said before, I'm kind of older school-ish, where I don't have the tricks. I'm not doing flips. I'm not, I can't do all that. I can barely get up in the morning. So I'm more of an emotional performer, I guess. Like I really try to select music for the audience, for myself, where I can feel what I'm performing, where it's not just like collecting dollars. It's like I'm performing for a reason. There's some part of me that needs to perform that song at that moment.
And I think that's really important. To show emotion on stage is something that is very important, because you're living that moment. You're bringing the emotion of that song to life.
Totally.
And again, that's why we're there. And those people who just walk around and collect dollars, I mean, I get it, you want the money, but your number one goal when on that stage is to entertain the audience. So I really love to hear that that's really your mindset.
Right. I never want to run, like, no matter how many, if I win more titles or if I ever get famous, like I don't want to rely. I don't want to rely on that name or that image to just like collect coins. Like I want to still give to the crowd that's there. I don't want to just like, oh yep, you're here to see me because this is my name. Not that that's the case, because I'm far from it, but I really try to stay humble and really put thought into every performance.
Now, you mentioned you don't do the tricks like high kicks or dramatic dips or anything like that, but can you actually dance?
I I'm really good at pretending I can dance. The talents I did for both my pageants were the same number with different backup dancers, so it's like the same choreo. But Alessandra Hunt taught me, the first thing she taught me was she's a professional dancer, and so people know her as being like dancing the house down, like choreo, like doing Janet and all those things. I'm like, I'm gonna look stupid, like they're gonna know I'm your daughter, but I can't dance. And she told me, if you can walk well and have a fierce walk, that'll sell all that you need. If you can have a fierce walk, know your words, and sell the song, that's all. You don't have to be a professional dancer. Like people will eat it up. And so that's kind of what I've been working on. It's just like having a fierce walk. Throwing in some moves I pick up here and now and then, but I'm not by any means like choreographed. I'm not like Todrick Hall. I'm not like doing all the things.
Oh, you just mentioned someone who I fucking adore.
Mm.
And if you don't mind, let me just tell you a story that might make you jealous for a second.
Oh God.
Do you love Toddy?
I love Todrick. I went to his concert in Seattle like not too long ago.
So Todrick came to Southern Oregon to Grants Pass and did a concert. I, of course, went in drag.
I love it.
He,
As Carol or no?
not as Carol, as Maliena, but here's where you're going to get jealous. Todrick Hall, in full drag,
Ugh.
came off stage, sang directly to me
Ugh, God.
in full drag on his microphone, and there's pictures of him actually singing live.
I'm logging off right now. Done.
Ah!
Done. Interview finished. Done. Turn it off.
He's such like he's a fabulous performer. Like to go to one of his shows,
Oh
you're
my
gonna
God.
get a little bit of everything. You're gonna get education. You're gonna get a drag show. You're gonna get a talented performer.
He puts on a goddamn production, and you know what? It was so. I saw him. I literally just was like the entire time. And he like was in drag, did his performance, got out of drag, and I was like, and his vocals sounded good. I was like, okay.
So tell me this. This is I bet you're wondering the same thing. How does that motherfucker go from being this butch boy to beautiful drag queen in 5 seconds?
I hate it. And you know what? And you know this to be true too. Like it takes a very specific talent and face to be very attractive in and out of drag, like conventionally. Like if usually if you're a handsome dude, like you got like a man chin, like it's hard to transform that. But he does it. Like he looks good. He looks real good in both. I'm like, fuck off. Like your makeup team. Like what are you doing? Like I need that. So.
And that is, I mean, you are right. That is a good-looking person in or out of drag. Now, speaking of music, my love, why don't you tell me about what makes you pick certain music for your actual performances?
A lot of it is mood that day, or at least that week. Whatever the deadline is, it's whatever my mood is right at that deadline. I'm kind of notorious for waiting to the very. It's always on time, but it's like right before the deadline of when I submit my music. And a lot of it is just like what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll know about a performance months in advance, and the week before I'm like, you know what, I'm not feeling that. Like I can't get in that headspace. I'm not in that. I can't like it's my who I am or what mood I'm in has changed, and so it really has to do with just how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what life experiences I'm doing. Very rarely do I know what I'm performing right away when I know a gig. It's usually a process of just living life and deciding what I want to invoke.
I feel you. You know, emotions can change, especially when choosing music. And, you know, I've been known to send my music and like 2 days before, but like message the producer, but like, can I change my song? I'm really not feeling this anymore.
Oh my God, no, seriously. Sorry, Daphne Storm, Eugene, Oregon. I've done it multiple times to her in Eugene. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, that bitch can deal with it.
I know, right? She's been around since 1904, her and Diva both. So I'm like, but almost every time I'm like, oh, I want to change the order. I want to change this and that. I always feel bad, but like, you know, if you want to give something, you give something. So.
What kind of do you have a performance, like a music style that you tend to stick to? Do you like pop music? Do you like country? Do you like rap? What do you tend to perform on stage?
Yeah, I'm so into 90s, like 80s, 90s, or like I'm so into like the Whitneys and the Mariahs, like that's what I'm getting my life on stage is even when I'm doing like Shaka or like it's always a big powerful voice, and it's not necessarily like a dance number. There's a couple of Beyonce songs I like to do, but like when I'm really in my element, it's something that's just like a diva that's on stage. It's a live performance. It's not necessarily something that's top 40 in 2020.
Would you ever consider doing someone edgy like maybe Grace Jones?
I love that whole the you know that aesthetic of just being bold and edgy and like do whatever you want and like what is gender even, like I love that. Yeah, I would be super into it. I think the only thing that I struggle with is rap. Rap is real hard. Like anyone who does rap real fast, they can learn those lyrics and spit them out, like tip them. like tip them, because that shit is not easy. Like I could like and I would still do it, but like it's like a stretch for me. Like it's
Are you familiar with Slutasia out here in Eugene?
yes, yeah, I've seen her. Yeah.
That bitch doesn't only rap, she freaking raps live.
Yeah. Yeah, I can barely speak live. Like you get me a microphone, I'm like,
Well, it's funny. So I asked Slutasia to write me a song, and I have a single out called Clownfish. I didn't realize when I asked her to help me with this song that it would end up more rap. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna rap," and I'm like, "Wait, I'm gonna rap?"
like what? Like wrap a present? Like what are we doing here?
Well, yeah, and I was like, "Girl, I mean, you do realize? I mean, I'm like, I'm more of a pop princess, kind of like
Okay.
Britney Spears."
Right?
But no, it was fun. It's definitely a lot harder to try to hit those rhythms, those beats.
The breath control, like no. I mean,
No,
and there were some girls who would slay the house. I'm just like, you know what?
yeah. So, honey, let's just say your rent is due tomorrow, but you have a show tonight, and you need to earn some money, honey.
All right.
What performance are you going to bring to the stage to wow the audience?
Um, I've only done this number once, but it is Whitney Houston's version of Home. And it's like her first time ever performance ever. Merv Griffin show, I believe it's 1984. And I just do it simple gown, one spotlight, and it's just like it's home from the Wiz, and just like giving the audience everything they need. And everyone's always had that like that time where they needed, like they wished for a true home, and they wished for like just a path that was better, or they wish they could go back knowing what they knew now. And in that moment I completely felt that, and I thought that I left myself on stage in that performance. Like I just like it gave everything. um but yeah, and it's that quintessential me where it's just super simple. It's not anything selling the performance. It's just me as a performer embodying how I interpret the music. So
I love
rent's,
that, babe.
rent's paid, we're good to go.
Well, babe, I know you've done some fantastic things in drag, and something you mentioned earlier within the interview is you are known for traveling and doing professional volleyball. Oh, volleyball. Now, I heard a little rumor, tell me if I'm wrong. You actually played a game of volleyball in full drag.
Yeah, like a few times. I wasn't quite professional, but I played in college and I played all around the country. Also did drag and all these like volleyball tournaments that were just out and about like all over the country. And so actually, but I did get to play for the University of Washington. I was on the UW men's club volleyball team. I didn't play much, but she cheered a lot. But I still, I got to, we all practiced together. And um, there was my one and only season I got to play. I had to judge and perform in the UW University of Washington drag contest. And so I judged it, I performed in it, was in full drag, and it was our last practice before nationals, the national tournament. And so I went straight from judging the UW contest and performing straight to volleyball practice, where I'm at the rec center at UW at the IMA, like all these guys, everyone's around me, like this is, we're college students, study and work out. I just walked in full drag, didn't give a fuck. I was like, you know what, here I am, I gotta go to volleyball practice. Did that practice in full drag, and I'm very lucky. My teammates were all so welcoming. The teammates were like, "Yeah, it's just our teammate in drag. Like, let's practice. We're getting ready for nationals." Like, no, like we laughed, and it was good to see me because I was late, and I'm never late. But there wasn't any like, there was like, it was never. I never doubted that I could go to practice in full drag, and it was beautiful. Like everyone knew who I was, and we just practiced like we as any other practice. And so I practiced in full drag, full tuck, full pad. My titty might have fallen out once, but no one will know that. But it looked.
I love it. Now, I know that with volleyball, you must be working with some very Fit and handsome men. Have any of them actually hit on you once they saw you were all beautiful and all?
There was one player. We were out for one of my great friends, Yean. She has a pub crawl that's themed every year, and this particular year it was lumberjack themed. And so I was wearing I literally was just wearing a red plaid shirt, and that was it. Just a belt and just legs. I didn't pad; it's just my natural legs shaved, and my legs look good. But so he walked in, our friend Tad, who plays volleyball, walked in and was like, I was totally checking you out. I had no idea it was you. And I was like, and
Yes.
I'll take a vodka soda, thank you. So it was, we laugh about it even to this day. Like, he's great, he's married, he has kids. He's such a great guy. And he just you look good. I was like, thank you.
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you gay or anything to think we look beautiful, right?
You just appreciate all of this, okay?
And oh, honey, he appreciated all of it.
Hey, I know, it's just full leg. You can see my cervix. My shirt was so short. Yes, God. But,
yes. Now, honey, I know I've actually heard recently that you have performed all around the United States. Tell us a few places that you've actually performed at.
Probably my two favorite were San Francisco. I got to perform at the cafe after a volleyball tournament that Sunday. Pollo Del Mar does a show down there every Sunday. And I got my life. It was so much fun to just my volleyball friends were there, so I had a few people that were there for me. But just being able to perform for a crowd of I didn't know almost a single person was so much fun.
And that was Pollo Del Mar?
Pollo Del Mar hosted at the cafe.
I love Pollo Del Mar. I actually met them out in San Francisco. God, I don't even remember what year it was.
Yeah.
And it was at the cafe. I swear that bitch has been performing there forever.
Yes.
And I swear, I don't think she ages. She might be a vampire.
She looks exactly the same. It's the same.
It's ridiculous. I hate these fucking older queens that just don't age at all, and they're looking beautiful. Fuck you. Well, my love, I actually hear that you've done some great things. You even performed and were part of a Pride mega show that had tons of RuPaul Drag Race girls. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
It was so much fun. It was in Vancouver. Tommy D out of Vancouver, BC booked me, and it was there's an open bar back there, and it literally was any Drag Race queen anyone was there. Roxy Andrews is there. I think Alyssa Edwards is there. I think Cookie Montrese. It was just this whole montage of all these RuPaul's girls, and they wanted to still feature local talent, and I was like, that's fucking amazing. Because that's one of the things that I think people now are getting it, but you have to, it's just you have to respect the local queens who who maybe aren't out there yet. And I think that doing that, you got the people in there who were there for the major RuPaul girls, but who also got to see their local talent, got to see what's at their local bar every weekend, and come and appreciate them because they're just as talented as those RuPaul's girls. And it was so
I agree. And and they're working their asses off just as hard for only $50, $80.
Right. I guess, yeah, exactly. And maybe a couple of green tickets.
Yep. And and hoping that you're gonna get tips while you're on stage.
God, right?
And that's why I always encourage you, especially right now, where we are in hard times. All of the drag performers have lost their gigs.
Right.
If there are drag queens that you love and appreciate that are selling merchandise or doing virtual shows, tip them, buy their merch, support your local performers because they really are putting themselves out there to entertain you. Now, with that said, if you are enjoying this interview with Bitch Talk with Bitchcock and you love this beautiful creature, please look in the description where you can find their PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, so you can tip them a little something extra. So, my love, so out of all those RuPaul girls, who was your favorite that you actually got to work with and meet?
Work with and meet. I got to. I was auctioned off by Bianca Del Rio. So,
What?
yeah, she
Well,
was.
girl,
Oh
it's
my God,
okay.
she just
I got
so
trapped in an
sweet.
elevator with her once.
We were at Baltic Room in Seattle. It was a fundraiser. We all got auctioned off as a fundraiser, and you like won a date with the drag queen and all that jazz. But Bianca Del Rio was the headliner queen. She ran the auction. She was rating people. Like she was so much fun. She was so much fun to work with, and such a great person in and out of drag. Like she was fantastic. Yeah.
I love Bianca. I've met her twice. As I said, once was in Portland, once was in an elevator. I had a smeared face. I just sucked some dick.
Yes.
Um, oh, girl, if you should definitely tune into the last interview I did with Sativa Jones because we spilled the tea where I come to interview, my face was smeared. I just had sex with a straight guy. Well, his girlfriend watched, and I get in there and I'm like, don't look at me, I'm smeared. And I hear Bianca's voice and I'm like, fuck.
Right? She's just like this bitch.
Oh, she was sweet. It was great until the guy and his girlfriend got on the elevator with
Oh no.
us. Then it got interesting.
Oh no.
Well,
Can't.
yeah, right? So, what is your favorite performance that you've ever done on any stage?
Um. Favorite performance. It probably so. It was that. I think it was that UW drag show. That I went straight to practice to. I did End of Time by Beyonce. Live. So this is live mix, and she can dance the house down. So I had to pretend I could dance. Did that.
Ah,
Ran into the crowd. Was running back. Didn't realize that I was gonna miss the stage. Like I was gonna miss my cue to start performing again. So I like beach whale. Like I beached myself on the beach. Like I'm a beach whale. Like dive onto the stage and just pop up and keep performing. And everyone loved it. And it wasn't in a bar. It wasn't in it was a college drag show. It wasn't, a proper, location where you see a drag show. People were there because they love drag, and so it was a great feeling.
I love that. What would you say is the craziest thing you've actually ever done in drag?
With your smeared face in the last story, that's one of those questions where people are like, "Have you ever had sex in drag?" The answer is yes. So this was a couple of years ago. I had just started drag. It was like 2012, 2013, and yeah. Just some guy took me home. It was great, lovely. I don't remember much. I was pretty intoxicated. I wake up. The house is nice. I was like, "Ah, he got money. He got money. Like you picked a good one." He drove me home. What a gentleman. But at this point, the only rule was like I had to like keep my wig and my bra on. So he dropped me off. I had to do the walk of shame, holding my hip pads and my shoes. Make was smeared off. I have one lash like down here, one lash up here. My wig is cocked to the side with my goddamn hip pads in my hand, walking up and I run into my goddamn landlord.
Oh,
This is have a great day. You know what, ma'am, you too. And it was at the time super traumatizing, but I look back at it, I was like, bitch, you were that drag queen in full tights, your hair conky, lashes up with your hip pads in your hand. That was you. So if you saw me, I'm sorry. Also, you're welcome.
oh my God, that is definitely crazy. And I've been there. Me and my girlfriends, we were in Medford and we all did drag. And on a Friday night, there's nothing to do but get dressed up and go to the bar. And I remember this one night. Oh, this man, he kept looking at me, and I'm like, I think he's gonna beat me up or something because he was
Right.
this,
You're like, I'm about to get hate crimed.
yeah, and he was this big, buff, like gorgeous man. And next thing you know, he's grinding on me and grinding on me and touching me, and I'm like, okay, maybe he thinks I'm a woman. And he kept reaching his hand on my titties, and I'm like, honey, we need to have a little talk.
Right.
Um, I'm actually a cross dresser. And he's like, I know. And that's why I want to fuck you. So do you want to come back to my place or not? And I'm like, yep, yep. And
Right?
here,
Sold.
now, this is where it relates to you. He got done with me, honey. He called me a cab. He kicked me out of his RV and made me walk on the street in full drag to find the cab.
Not the RV, no ma'am. Was
Yeah,
it?
girl, he was hot. I didn't care.
Oh my God, what is it? Tu Wong Fu? Like no. Oh my.
Poor Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh my God, that's very AJ and the Queen, the newer series on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Could you imagine if it was
my
RuPaul? Ooh.
God.
So, how would you say that doing drag has affected your confidence into day-to-day life?
It's really taken off. Like I more and more realize that who I am as Alessandra has made me my best self, and that I should be able to express that even out of drag. I should be able to be confident, wear whatever I want to want, like wear whatever I want to wear, and like do whatever I want to do. Like I want to, uh, and that's what it's given me. It's given me that confidence, and like now, stuff that I'll wear even as a boy now are not necessarily I'd wear, before I started drag. It's been this evolution of like slowly and surely, Alessandra and Irvin are combining to be my best self. And I don't think I'm quite there yet, but like that's where we're headed.
I love that. And I think the two personalities do eventually combine, and that confidence from drag kind of leaks into everyday life. So just keep being patient, keep growing as a human being, because eventually you're going to start feeling positive about yourself, even when you don't have the wig and makeup on. And that's probably the most rewarding moment that you'll have in your whole career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my love, let me find my spot. I have giant lashes and tiny writing.
I know, right?
Hey, all you cool cat and kittens. So, what is actually your proudest accomplishment that you've done through your drag career?
Um, ooh, um, my relationship with my dad.
Oh,
So growing up, I was, raised in Springfield. I was Mormon, I was brown, I was 80 pounds, I was overweight, I was all these things that, I wasn't something to be proud of, at least in my eyes. And my dad and I never really got along. I was always a little bit more effeminate, and we just, even though I did a lot of things for him, I played basketball for him, like I wanted to do all these things, and we still had this very strained relationship. And a lot of it is because like his generation, he was born in the Philippines, in the 50s, and it just, dads were providers and they weren't emotionally attached. Um, and so we had a very strained relationship. Like we never really talked. We didn't have a relationship. Moved to Seattle, discovered who I was, and I think that distance really made us realize what we had together, and what we appreciated and what we had taught each other, and it meant a lot for us to be in each other's lives. And so we built up. I started doing drag. He came up here for Pride, played with some wigs. I remember the first time I was in Eugene at the Cowfish, did a performance. He showed up. I didn't know. He had never seen me in drag before.
oh,
Big ugly tears, and just like that full circle moment of like he was so proud of what I was doing. And he used to go to shows for me, and he would be there however he wanted. And that relationship that I was able to grow with him, where he was my best friend, and he would ask me, who I was dating, how that was going, what performance I was going to do, like checked in all the time. And it was I'm very, very blessed and very lucky to have had that moment with my dad. And he died suddenly recently. He died a month ago, and so it's been like this whole process with isolation and quarantine has been it's been hard. It's been hard to process everything. And this is my first birthday without him, and like not being able to pick up the phone and call him, or um it's been hard. But at the same time, it's been like I remember how hard it took for us to build that relationship. And like if I can do that, I can get through this, and I know he's watching over me. And there's no words left unsaid between me and my dad. And at the very least, I can make it through with that sentiment. So
yeah, So beautiful, honey, and I'm so sorry to hear about your father, especially being it so soon. The show that I actually did with you, your dad came out and supported you, and I remember thinking in that moment how wonderful it was to see a father support their child in drag because I never got to experience that myself.
Yeah.
So I love you, honey, and I'm really sorry for your loss. And just keep those beautiful memories close to you because those are what you're gonna cherish.
It was so great. He remembered you. He talked about you, like you and you were decked out and head to toe in your bodysuit, and he he loved it. He went to that show by himself, and he didn't have any friends there, and he just wanted to support me, and that's that's what I'll remember. And
God, try not to cry. You're gonna make me all emotional. Oh God, this is supposed to be like a fun interview, not sad. Oh, baby, I love you so much more now. Well, let's move on just so I don't cry at all. Do you prefer to do more of the casual club shows, or do you like to getting all dolled up and do more of the formal events?
um, I've always liked performances where it's not necessarily at a club, or even like I love brunch shows. I love like venues like college shows, like anything where I'm giving drag not in a place that would normally have drag, or a group of people that would have access to drag. Um, so I guess neither really. It's like I really like the all ages shows are great, and like I think like fundraiser shows are great where like I love exposing queer culture to people that don't normally get it. And I think that they appreciate it more because if they're there, more than likely they're open to it. Like they're there for a reason. It's not like they're there, on accident. Um, but I love being able to do those shows where I can share my journey and share who I am now. Um, Not that I don't love, club shows, drag shows, or like pageant shows. Um, there's just something really special about communicating with someone that needed it. Like someone like being able to be that beacon, being that person that um, you may once have needed when you're their age. And like I love that um, the experience of reaching out to new people.
And I think that's probably one of the most rewarding things you have as a performer or a drag queen or drag performer in general is when you have people who come up to you and tell you how much you inspire them.
Mhm.
Myself, I've had a lot of kids who've come up to me and tell me how much I've inspired them. I've had kids literally come up shaking and crying because they're getting ready to meet me. And you don't think
Mhm.
being a drag performer, especially if you're from a small town like Springfield or Medford, that you're
Right.
going to have that impact on kids or people. And but you do. Anybody who goes into a spotlight and go on stage, you're going to impact people and leave an imprint. And I think the most rewarding thing I get is knowing that these kids look up to you. And I met a kid years ago, I think almost 10 years ago, when they were 16 years old.
Mhm.
They are now 26 years old. They are part of our queer family, and they are one of my number one supporters. They support me on TikTok. They share all my videos. Levi, if you are watching, handsome, I love you so much. Your love and support through all of these years have meant the world to me. And those kids who look up to us, those are what make it rewarding for us.
Yeah, and it's those things where you never know who's watching. You could be out of drag in a grocery store, lip syncing to a song, and maybe that's the thing that a kid who's in the stroller or who's with their mom needs to see. They need to see that confident person. Or you're walking down the street in drag, or you're in a club, you're on stage. Like, you never know what your impact's going to be or who's watching you, or, whose life you can change by just existing. And so I think that's what's so
That's
beautiful.
such a true statement because it's not just youth that we're going to leave an impact. It's sometimes the older generation. And one reason I say that is me and my boyfriend, we hold each other's hand in or out of drag.
Mhm.
And I remember an older lady was passing us, and I was holding my boyfriend's hand as we were walking up to a venue, and she turned around and says, excuse me, do you mind? And she wanted just to tell us how much seeing us showing our intimacy in public, especially, when I was all dressed up, really meant something to her. And it really, made her happy to see that people weren't scared of that, because she was telling us we only had probably a minute and a half of interaction, but she was telling us when she grew up, you wouldn't even imagine that someone would walk down the street holding a drag queen, trans person's, another queer person's hand. And it really helped make her realize that it's okay for people to do that. And it really made her happy to see that. So, you never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who your very presence going to really
Right.
make a difference for them.
Sometimes you don't have to perform. You don't have to. You just have to exist and be seen, and you've saved someone's life. So
So tell me a bit about going to formal events. Do you feel like when you go to a formal event and you put on a gown and the hair and all the jewelry, do you feel your life at all? Because I feel like when I put on my first formal gown and I felt like an
yeah,
actual glamazon is when I really felt like I was feeling my oats.
I put this on. I got big hair. I can't breathe. There's a long hallway. I got jewelry. I feel like I am it. Like I am the person. You walk in and you're just like, it is such an amazing feeling. And but yeah, it is. You put on that big hair, you put on the jewelry, you put on the gown, and you walk down this hallway, and you feel like everyone just turn and look at you, and it's like the best feeling.
Yes, I totally understand. And that's one of the greatest things about holding a title. And one reason I love the fact that I was able to hold titles, because I love taking care of my community. I love doing community work, but it's nice to feel confident and it's nice to feel good about yourself. Now, speaking of titles, my love, would you ever consider in the near future to run for any other titles?
I've considered it. I think it'd be fun. I think that yeah, I'm not the factory's not closed. I'm not retired from pageants. Like I'm open to preparing a package and going on stage.
Perfect. Now, if there's any kids or young queens who are watching who may want to run for some pageants and maybe make that something they want to do in their career, do you have any advice you'd like to give them?
Um, be yourself. I think that judges will overlook, you know, maybe you didn't have the perfect talent or didn't have the perfect gown, but like if you can express yourself, and from my experience, what I've seen in pageants and watching and participating, it was a lot about just a performer owning who they were and being confident in who they were, and having a personality that's relatable. One of the biggest pageants in the Seattle area Northwest is Miss Utopia, which is traditionally a Pacific Islander Asian pageant, and these girls are stunningly beautiful, but they all are so funny and they all have such big personalities, and just like being able to own that, I think is a big chunk of it. And also just preparing and for a package that you think could be anyone. Like don't be scared of anyone. Like you each have your own talents, and just like present your best self and own it.
Absolutely. I love that so much. We're just here to uplift one another and have fun, and that's the most important part about being queens.
Yeah.
No, no, beautiful. What are we to expect next for your drag character? Are you planning on doing anything big? Like, we mentioned pageants, but would you do anything maybe like RuPaul's Drag Race or Dragula or maybe even Camp on a Kiki?
Right. I actually, it'd be so. I've never auditioned for anything. I am doing it was supposed to happen at the beginning of May for Cuban Pride, but I am actually going to Cuba as a drag ambassador. Um, I was one of like 30 queens who are selected out of thousands of queens to represent the U.S. and do this like cultural exchange with Cuba. I'm super excited because it's like it'll be like a queer scene I've never seen, and like I'm really excited to interact with queens from the U.S., but also queens in my queer community in Cuba, and they're a communist country, and they're just their society is different, and to learn from that, it's not going to be a missionary trip where we're going out and teaching them our ways. Like it's very much like we want to learn their culture and what they do and why they do it. And so I'm super excited about that. It's gotten postponed because of COVID coronavirus. So we're going December 5th through the 12th is a tentative date for that. So we'll be going out to Cuba. Other than that, I'm part of Noir, which is an all POC cast in Seattle that does digital shows now that we're, can't do shows, but more performing on stages, international travel now, just, trying to spread the knowledge, spread love.
Yes. Well, honey, I hate to tell you this, but you have almost survived the interview. I only have one last question. And what did you think about your experience on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock?
Oh my god, it was so much fun. It wasn't even an interview. Like it was just like two girls sitting down, we're kikiing at the bar. I'm here with Carol Baskins, like we're talking about our dead husbands. Like we were just, just hanging out, dessert. We got dessert coming.
Here, kitty, kitty, I hope you're hungry. I got a little treat for you.
It was so much fun, and honestly, just was like it was a nice in-depth little feature to get into life at Alessandra.
I appreciate it. When you reached out to me to be on the show, I can, some of these queens who are reaching out, I've performed with you once or twice, but that's kind of the nice thing about it, because then it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you
Totally.
and, what you've all done through your career. And, I love doing these interviews because, again, I may have met you once, but I feel like I know you so much more now.
Oh no, it's great to get to know, the woman behind, Carol
The
Bass,
bitch cop.
the bitch talk. That's what I've heard.
Yes. So, as we mentioned at the beginning of this beautiful interview, it is your fabulous birthday. And in honor of your birthday, we're going to sing a little song. She's a jolly good hooker, so she's a jolly good hooker. She's a jolly good hooker, and nobody can deny. Well, happy
Empty.
birthday, my dear.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you and chat with you and Kiki, and it's so good to see you.
Absolutely. And before we're not quite done yet. We still have a little game we're going to play.
Perfect.
Before we move to the game, I just have some announcements I'd like to mention. I do want you to encourage, if you did enjoy this interview, as I mentioned before, please go to the description where you can find Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal so you can tip my wonderful guest. And if you really enjoyed me putting together these wonderful shows such as Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, please also throw a little something at me.
Yeah.
Again, I am a poor whore and I have lost my unemployment. So if you want to throw a little $5, even a dollar, it's appreciated. So I love you all. Another thing I'd really like to announce is our next episode is this Friday, and I'm so fucking excited to announce that our special guest is Stephanie, a Mercury Experience. Oh my God. And if you don't know this bitch, you're going to know her. I hope you are ready. She is going to just spill all the fucking tea.
Yes.
So, perfect. So, right before we go to the game, I just have one last announcement. We are selling Bitch Talk with Bitchcock stickers. They are a 3-pack. You get 3 wonderful fucking stickers for $13. And I know it's a little pricey for a sticker, but you get 3 stickers. And if you buy a 3-pack, I throw a special gift in. So definitely make sure to support Maliena Bitchcock by buying her dirty stickers because she's a dirty whore. So my love, are you ready to play a little game with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. So we have 2 games. One is Marry, Kai, or Cancel.
Great.
How this will work is I'm going to name 3 names, and you're going to tell me if you would marry them, Kai them, or cancel their shows completely. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Here we go.
So we have some of the most beautiful queens we both have worked with. Miss Flawless Shade from Portland, Oregon. Miss Kimberly Michelle Westwood, also from Portland, Oregon. And London Bradshaw from Seattle.
Okay, so I'm gonna Kai with Flawless because she's beautiful. We are
Oh,
going
amen.
to we're gonna marry London because she produces the show that I work on, so we can't cancel her. Noir, see it every month in Seattle or in Noir, and then we're gonna cancel Kimberly. I love you so much, Empress of Oregon, formerly. Oh, sorry, cancel.
Wrong, wrong. Empress of Portland. She was not Empress of Oregon. I was Empress of Eugene while she was Empress of fucking Portland. So I am not letting her get the title of Empress of Oregon. Fuck that shit. She already got Empress of a fucking decade.
Okay. True. There it is. You know, so she doesn't need any more shows. She's good to go. She's got Paul. She had a lovely man. She'll be fine.
Cancel that bitch completely, right? Damn right. Okay, for round two, we are going to pick another Portland favorite, Syra St. James. And another Portland girl, Tina G.
Okay.
And I believe she is from Washington, Victoria DuPont.
Okay, so oh crap. Um we're gonna marry Tina because she's super sweet. She's the current La Femme International, Tina G. Such a sweet like I did a Radisson show, a brunch show. She's super, super sweet. Okay, so we'll marry her. Um ugh. uh We're gonna Kai with Cyrix. She's so cute. The Middle Eastern tea. I'm into that. And so we're gonna have to cancel Victoria. I don't know. The odd one out. I don't know. I'm so bad at this. Sorry, Victoria. I love you.
It's all right. For any of the queens who are watching, this is just a game. Don't be sending death threats to my guests.
Okay.
They're just here to have a little fun.
Okay.
Speaking of, for round three, let's bring this home to Eugene.
Oh
Let's
God.
pick some of your three favorite Eugene queens and see what happens. We have, of course, Nicole Serene Storm, Caress and Slaughter, and of course I'd be a fucking bitch and dumb if I didn't say my own name, Maliena Bitchcock.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so oh my gosh. We are going to, you know what? We'll Kai. You and me will Kai. It'll be a lovely old time. A leopard print with Carol Baskin would probably Kai. So we're gonna Kai there. We are going to, oh Lord. I'm gonna marry Caress only because, fun fact, my senior year of high school, my walking partner at graduation was his daughter. And also she books me. So I'm gonna marry her. Okay, Caress, love you. Yeah, we're gonna marry and Nicole Story got a lovely man. She'll get booked anyway. She get canceled. She'll have a comeback. She does the brunch show that we did. She does Glamazons. She'll be fine. So
Has Nicole Serenity Storms at her
oh
apartment
my
right
God.
now. Never
She just
book
took the
this
wrong
bitch
right one.
again.
She's like never book this bitch ever again. Oh my God, I love it. Hi
Ah,
Nicole.
okay. Well, my love, you survived to marry Kai or cancel, but I do have one more little mini game that we like to call Truth or Drink. So get that little cocktail ready, Miss Thing. So how this will work is I will ask you a series of really shady questions, and you can make the choice to either answer the question or take a shot. Now, because we're drag queens and we really love our alcohol, you also have the option to take the shot and still spill the tea. So, my love, one
Okay.
of the first questions is, would you say you are a shady queen?
Ah! Well, I'm gonna drink anyway because like I'm a little thirsty.
Oh,
Uh, I don't think I'm shady. I think I'm honest. So yes and no. I I won't ever say something that I won't say to a queen's face.
uh, and that's not shady. That's just being real.
Thank you. Okay. So no.
Well, you actually already answered one of my shady questions earlier, which was, have you ever had sex and drag? So go ahead and just take a sip for that one.
Yeah, we're gonna do a double.
Yes. Hold on. Mm,
Oh yes, we love. Oh yes, a
mm.
community shot. Yes. Mm.
Yes, tastes like the blood of my ex-husband.
Yes. Where's the foot? Into it.
Oh, yeah. So tell us the worst performance flop that may have ever have happened to you. And now a performance flop is when your wig flew off, your titty fell off, you fell on your face. Tell us a story.
I have many. I do this a lot. Like, but the point, it's like, you know what happened to happen. We're gonna own it. But most recently, there's a performance where previously drag queen mentioned Lyndon Bradshaw was supposed to help me. I was doing Hush Hush by the Pussycat Dolls, and like there's a dance break and you do all this shit, and I was gonna do a wig change, and this bitch put on the wig backwards. In fact, it was this wig. It was like the Diana Ross fight. Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive, like T. She put this wig on backwards, so like Cousin It. I look like this. I came out looking like what am I supposed to do with this? So I tore that motherfucker off. I just threw it off. I thought, we're gonna do this. I Will Survive. Hush Hush. Bald T, looking like Tamar Braxton. We're gonna work it out. It's gonna work. She felt so bad though. She's like, I didn't realize I was. I was like, you know what? I ain't even mad, but it was a little awkward. I look like a thumb with eyelashes. Okay.
I love it. Cousin It realness.
Oh, for real, the house down boots. Okay.
Well, I have one last question. And let's say that both of these divas were still available and you had to choose to only go to one of their concerts.
Okay.
Who would you go to? Either Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston?
Oh my god. Well, first of all, R.I.P. both their voices because both the voices are dead. But Whitney, the house, like hands down. Whitney, to me, just embodies this diva-dom and just like this purity. And most likely she was queer, but also like she just her voice and her tone and just like ooh, she could like ooh, just so good. And I would love to just be able to see her perform in her prime. So Whitney.
Yes, my dear. Well, I'm so happy to let you know that you actually survived, unlike my husband, Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. And I'm so happy that you came on this series so that we could get to know you a little more.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, my love. And for all you beautiful people watching, if you really want to tune in this Friday and see a real show, please tune in to Bitch Talk with Bitchcock this Friday as I interview the one and only Stephanie A. Mercury Experience. We're going to spill all the tea and really just live our lives. Now, again, I'm going to say it one last time. Please tip my performer and my special guest. She has spilt all the tea. She gave us a great interview. So even if you just give her $5, please do so I don't have to feed you to the lions like I did my husband. Oh! So again, I love you all. Thank you again, beautiful, for being here. And I will see you all next time on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. I love you all.